Hello everyone, and welcome to another installment of AIA Florida's Friday Facts Overview and other AIA Florida related topics. This week's video will be a little different since I got my COVID-19 shot over the weekend, and I was feeling a little quite hazy over the weekend, so I couldn't quite get the energy to get up and do this recording. So I'll go ahead and spare you having to see my face through the introduction and the outro, and we'll just jump right into it. I do want to remind everyone that some of the information I am presenting is from a personal point of view, and it may not completely line up with AIA Florida's stance on particular topics, or any other entity that may appear within the video. I will make the effort to make it clear when I'm expressing personal opinions. So, NCARB online tips. Last week we received an update from NCARB and online testing tips. I believe it was the 20th that we received that email. And so the tips are to make sure that you connect via an Ethernet and no Wi-Fi. Some of this stuff is going to be repeated from previous videos, but it's always a good thing to keep reminding everyone. Close all your computer applications. That one's kind of new. Adjust your network and computer security settings. And disable your virtual private network or VPN. So some of you may know how to do that or may not, depending on where you're doing this. If you're doing it in the office, you may need to get somebody's help to do so. And then make sure that your webcam uses autofocus. And finally, this is very important, and you'll see why in a little bit. Schedule your free 30-minute test run appointment. The test run will help you identify potential technical problems with your online testing setup or testing space prior to your exam. You should schedule a test run at least 1 week in advance of your actual ARE appointment and have the space prepared just as you will on the test day. A reminder on mask policy. Just have a quick mention. It's, please wear your mask. That's essentially the message there from all those sentences and long explanation. Just wear your mask while you're in there. Please wear your mask. And then here we go on the technical issues. So NCARB works with two partners on delivery of these tests. One is Prometric, that's one I'm most familiar with, and Zoomorphics. The TLDR of this is that the overall technical issues increased slightly, but there was a major jump that occurred on the online proctor exams. It went up from 18% last month. So if we look at it right here, this is last month's tech issues update, to 28 this month. As NCARB says, it is in part due to the increased use of the system. But I think that whatever the reason, it's quite concerning. I do, and they do, by that I mean NCARB, encourage you to follow the tips mentioned earlier, and you must schedule a test run. I personally think that it is a must for you to schedule a test run to try to avoid these things. In my opinion, and here we go, this is just my opinion, part of the issues I'm sure are based on a user error, right? There's something that you did or you didn't do or you forgot to do or you didn't know you had to do that caused that particular technical error. And even if that's only 1% of the people that took this test, I think that every bit matters, because each percentage likely represents tens, if not hundreds of people. So that is something that is very critical. If you are one of those people, it's very important for you. So I strongly encourage everyone to go through that process just to minimize the user error, so that we can then kind of see why NCARB continues to have technical issues that may be on their end, right? So it'll be a lot easier to kind of point the finger, if you will, at the particular issues and technical difficulties that are happening. And as a reminder, again, that's the previous one that I mentioned. And here's the website. Once again, link is going to be down below for you to schedule your free 30-minute trial appointment with Prometric. All right. Please do so if you have something scheduled coming up. Then the 2021 AI Awards continues. This week was the COAT Top 10 Programs, which is in its 25th year, and highlights projects that meet AIA Committee on the Environment's rigorous criteria for social, economic, and ecological value. The COAT Top 10 Plus designation denotes projects with exemplary performance data and post-occupancy lessons. Top 25, some of those are here, and we're talking about the University of Washington Life Science Building, the Candida Building for Innovative Sustainable Design, Ryerson University Daphne Cockwell Health Science Complex, that's a bit of a mouthful, Rainier Beach Clinic, Microsoft Silicon Valley Campus, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT.nano, Market 1, Lafayette College Rockwell Integrated Sciences Center, Civitas, as well as Arizona State University Hayden Library Reinvention. There was no particular order to the list, and those were the ones that AIA Awards has gone to. So let's just jump into the Friday facts. Board of Architecture and Interior Design, they met in Cocoa Beach last week to consider general business, including disciplinary cases reviews, application reviews, rules, reports, and discussion items. Several licensees were disciplined and fined for not meeting the required continuing education, with thousands of dollars in fines imposed. So please be sure to stay current with your hours. And we'll touch on that later on down in the email. AIA Florida EVP and CEO Vicki Long, CAE and honorary AIA, she attended the meeting along with Vice President of Advocacy Rhonda Hammond, AIA. They provided an update on legislation and the association to the Board of Architectural and Interior Design Board. Some legislative update. It's a relatively quiet week. SB 1060, which is providing liability protection to architects and engineers responding to declared disasters, was passed by the Senate, and it now moves to the House with both Senate and House bills. HB 891 recently amended to limit the liability protection to 90 days post-disaster. So this is a long-sought legislation which is pretty much going to pass as it stands for now. But of course, nothing's certain until it actually happens. The Florida webinars, as I mentioned, this is a relatively easy way for you to stay current with some of your hours, or at least catch up, or have less that you need to at the end of the 2-year term. And AIA is hosting some free webinars for you to do sometime. Some of these are during your lunch breaks, so have your meal while listening to some of this material. Anyways, on April 29th, which is coming up in a couple of days, PVC Roofing Materials, Performance, Construction, and Functionality by Versico. May 6th, it's a post-pandemic sustainable design for restrooms, locker rooms, and other public spaces by Bradley Corp. And May 13th, which would be Reducing Embodied Carbon Through Responsible Structural and MEP Design, presented by TLC Engineering Solutions. Next item within the email is that AIA has released a white paper on the fundamentals of resilient and climate adaptive design. I have provided a link that takes you to this webpage, as well as the PDF, which is kind of nicer to look at. And some of the topics that they kind of go into is that, you know, they should be place-based, risk-prepared, equitable, precautionary, system-centric, ready for a disruption, and service life focused and adaptive. If you'd like to read more, of course, there it is, a link down below if you'd like to get a little bit more in depth. Then we go back to the email where we have some reminders as we come close to this very short, relatively short week with news. If you're taking the AREs on site, once again, please wear a mask. Convention registration is still open, and we continue to look for content for the AIA Florida Caribbean Architect magazine. I just got mine today, so we'll probably be taking some pictures and having it as part of the cover, sort of the intro for the videos, and we'll probably be doing a relatively deep dive into it in the following weeks. So as we come to a close, we take a look at the calendar. Once again, on the link below, it'll take you to this webpage, and of course you can take a look at what happens in the following month here on this view. And if you receive the email, I'm sure you will know that at the bottom you'll see the events broken down into each component. So you can either look at the component event or what's coming up overall on a calendar setting. I do want to remind everyone, particularly those in their components boards, to please make sure that you send your events to George, so we can go ahead and update the calendar. So, like I said, relatively short week here on the news, and I want to thank you for your time. I hope you found this helpful. Take care, and we'll see you next time.